So we have a few minutes, and I'd love to open up the space for questions. Does anybody have a question that they might like to ask? All right.
Here. Wait, your hands. I was. How does his hands move so fast? How does fans move so fast? How do you? Sorry, that's my question. That's it. Yeah, how do you train for that?
Let me think. Well, I think when you love something as much as we love what we do, it's hard to not think about it constantly and try to think about all different kinds of things that we can do to improve technique, to improve musical things. So I think I'd rather think about it, I'd rather practice than sleep. And so eventually I try to do that. I don't know.
I mean, I have a question too about how you do those moves.
That's my question. That's what I want to know. I'm going to pass this back to you.
How about any questions from the folks that are with us tonight?
Sure. Well, I had a chance to read the book about Henrietta Lacks a couple years ago, and she was a largely unknown figure in science. And the woman who did the biography about her really had to dig deep and find an entree into her family to get understanding of her background, because they had the records from Johns Hopkins Medical Hospital. But for folks who don't know Henrietta Lacks, they harvested her cells without her knowledge, and I guess at this point it would be illegal and unethical what they did to her. But all of the cancer research that we currently know about is all based on her cells. Her cells are the only cells that divide on their own and have been living and don't die when they're not, being picked apart. So she is the basis of all this research, and she literally lives inside of all of us. I mean, vaccinations, all that came from this one woman who was a downtrodden, disenfranchised woman from the South, a woman of color. So there's a lot of intersection there, but she lives literally inside of all of us, literally inside of all of us. Surely. Yes, that's the other thing. She had ovarian cancer, and that's where they found that her cells are multiplying. So her family lived in poverty and still does live a life that's not big pharma. Big pharma has made billions of dollars off of this woman, and yet this family is still, they're trying to find monies for her offspring to go to college and to have access to the things that we all have access to. So thank you for asking that question.
Any other questions? I can bring the mic down to you. Just here.
For all of you being social activists, I imagine you all wish the world was more a certain way. And for you personally, what is that way you wish the world was more of? Does that make sense?
Could everybody hear that?
I think we are living in a world where we are not able to expect what's going to happen. We hear tragedy ongoing in Syria, Iraq, so many other places in our world. I feel we had enough of blood and all of these horrible things. We need to be one hand. We need to be reunited to create beauty in this world. Everyone in this world deserves a beautiful life. And this is what I believe we should all work together to achieve. It's a long way, but I think if we start from here, it's not going to be impossible. We need to do that. It's enough.
Well, I'll say that if the entire world were filled with people as brave and as thoughtful and as bold and as warm-hearted as Mariela, then I think the world would definitely be a better place, I have to say. But I suppose to answer your question more specifically, perhaps the things that we are our missions, I think that the things that we are so passionate about, if we did not have to fight for, if we did not have to advocate for what it is that we do on principle, for the arts themselves, that would be because they were so deeply a part of the way that the world worked, and therefore the world was much more harmonious. I think that would be wonderful. But definitely, I think by not putting people in boxes, not stereotyping, having much more common understanding, I think would really be what I would want to see. Yeah.
I remember when I first came to the US when I was 16, I did not speak a word of English. The only way for me to stay connected was through piano. There was one day I realized, wow, I actually can express all my frustration and sense of isolation through music. And that was like the day of inspiration why I wanted to study piano. And I think music can empower individual to be more expressive through the arts, and as you say, just create a beautiful world. I think individual has to have way to connect with themselves and find beauty in their lives and bring beauties to others as well.
All of the above, what y'all said. And then also this issue of play. We play music, we play sports, we play with our friends, hopefully. I would like to see more of play in actual kids and in grown kids, right? So back in the day, when I'm assuming you're probably my generation, right? We didn't have mobile devices. We were the mobile devices, right? So I wish there'd be more play throughout all ages, and that could bridge us as well. So, you know, you see folks who go to college and they become Autobots and like, I must become a consultant, I must go to med school, I must do this. And you look at their eyes and they're dead. I want to see more like sparkles shooting out of people's eyeballs. That's what I want.
I read a scary statistic. 30% of millennials born from 1980 to 2000, 30% of them use their phones on social media and stuff more than they interact with people. And that's in the tens of millions of people. Yeah. So sad.
Well, it's part of the reason we're fighting cats, right? Any other questions? Well, this has been an incredible evening, and I just want to say that for me, it's a real honor to be on the stage with artists that I admire and respect so much and who inspire me every single day. I began the Canales Project with this dream of really looking at these issues in a way that would use music as a tool. I've often talked about feeling myself like an other. And I believe that we have to start to get to the place where we look at the all. What do we all have in common? And to me, that's the human condition. And I can't think of a better way than to use the arts, because the arts examine the human condition, as you said earlier, but they also unite us with what we have in common, which is emotion. They, you know, explore the laughter, the joy, the pain, the sorrow, and all of the things that it means to be human and to be alive. I thank everybody for joining me and sharing your story tonight and your incredible music and artistry. And thank you all for coming. Really, thank you so much. Thank you to National Sawdust for hosting us. And a big special thank you to Carnegie Hall, to the Wild Music Institute for being so supportive of this work and giving us this opportunity. Thank you all so much.